Hello, good morning, and welcome to this morning time taste challenge. It's very rainy outside here. The rain, I don't know, it's coming down heavy. I have Tom Sims, age 4 years. Bought this in Texas. It's distilled in Kentucky and it's carefully selected and bottled. It says by Tom W. Sims Distillery, Buzz Heaven Hill. Okay, because the Tom Sims Distillery burnt down. It was small anyway. It was not a big. Now they're showing some pioneer looking thing here, but wasn't that crude. But it was a small company, and the distillery did burn down, and now it's owned by Heaven Hill. Okay, it's one of those brands that they went around like Sazerac. They went around and picked it up for a low price, probably. All right, hold on a second. Wiping off the bottle. I have enough here for maybe 2 taste challenges. I bought this from my friend David. I was like, here's a little present, and he made a bad face, and I said, what's wrong? Well, that's a cheap bourbon. I said, I got it on sale for $9.99. Normal price was $11.99. I said, well, how you know it's bad? He didn't know. He didn't like it. Okay. He gets a lot of expensive bourbon. Then he pays $70 for bourbon sometimes and tells me, I didn't like that stuff. Stuff was trash. And I was telling him, you pay all this money for all these expensive bourbons, and half the time you tell me they're not any good. And then you get cheap ones sometimes and tell me how good it is. So, I mean, what is your benefit from paying all this money? Michael Hill, good morning, people. Good morning, Michael. Okay, so anyway, if you didn't know any better, you would just think it was a company called Thomas W. Sims Distillery, and you might like it and you'd be happy to drink it, okay? But it is a Heaven Hill. It's a Heaven Hill bottle. They got that straight down cylindrical bottle. It's no coloring added, so it's very orange. This is a very orange bourbon, and sort of hazy in the bottle. A lot of times when you get down to the bottom, they'll start looking cloudy, because they're not as filtered as you hope. And then what happens is the sediment settles, see? And then they're not so clear. All right, start tasting like wood, just like straight wood. Okay, bought this in Texas. I've never seen it anywhere else. Doesn't mean I wouldn't see it again, but I never heard of it before, and I've never seen it since. And I did a little research, and like I said, I found out the distillery had burnt down, and see, what's the name of that town? Oh, yeah, McAllen, Texas. Yes. Pretty sure that's where I bought it, McAllen. And it was right across, just north of the railroad track. And it was an amazing liquor store. I mean, I could have bought 100 things, but it was just crazy, going in there. I was fascinated by it. So I told my friend David when he got down, he drank 1/3 of the bottle. I was like, you ever going to drink that? I said, because I'll take it and do taste challenges with it. And he was saying, you're an Indian giver. I said, what do you mean an Indian giver? I'm not saying I want it back because I'm jealous that you have it, and I said, but you're never going to drink it. I'm going to come over here in 10 years. That bottle's going to be sitting on the shelf. It's going to be sitting on the shelf, and it'll never have moved. The volume never changed. And to me, that's like a waste, I said, I'll pay you for it. I'll buy it. Oh, no, he gave it to me. All right, so I've been very pleased with it. Is it the greatest thing? No, it's not the greatest thing, but it's very good. Butch Willis says, this feels like deja vu. I know, right? Okay, now, here's the white cap. This is the white label, Jesse James. There's others than this. Yeah, this is not the only one. This is the 2-year age. Now, if you look at their website, they're showing a 3-year age. Do they still make the 2-year age? This I cannot answer. I saw a couple of videos showing the 2-year. Most of the videos showing the 3-year age. Was this an early release or something? I don't know. I bought this 3 years ago. Yeah, I think 2019 at Savannah discount. This is a liter bottle now. This is a big bottle, a liter bottle. When I tell you the price, you're going to think I'm making it up. Urjo. So I didn't know Jesse James was famous for his liquor. Oh, yes. This is not Jesse James, the outlaw. This is Jesse James Dupree, a singer and a marketeer. That's a shame for what happened to the distillery. 1994, I believe. 94 it burnt down? Yeah, it is a shame. All right. This guy does not own a distillery, okay? He owns a marketing company. He doesn't make his own shirts, Western shirts. He doesn't make his own Western boots. He doesn't make his own glassware or any of those other things you can buy, or hats, or liquor. He has it made for him. Is that something bad? No, I'm not saying it's anything bad at all. It's just the way a lot of companies operate. They don't make their own products. They have it made for them, and they sell it under their name. And it's, look at J&B whiskey. Everybody heard of J&B Scotch, right? Who hadn't heard of that? Every store sells it pretty much. They don't have a distillery. They'll tell you on the website, Just Irene Brooks. They're wine and liquor procurers. That means they buy it from different producers and they sell it. And then they started J&B for the sole reason that they wanted to sell a whiskey under their own name. But if you look at Just Irene Brooks' website, they got about 50 different whiskeys and about 1,000 different wines. Like literally, I'm not joking. So this is the way some companies operate. A lot of celebs do it now, Ron. Yeah, a lot of celebrities. They got the Ciroc vodka from a certain celebrity. There's the Ousset brandy, from a cognac brandy from a certain celebrity. So big deal. This is Jesse James Dupree. I wouldn't say he's necessarily a celebrity. If you went into this, if you were in the grocery store and he walked past you, you probably wouldn't. You just think as a customer, not anybody famous. I like the Jesse James label. It makes me feel like a cowboy on the frontier, says Urjo. Yes, I feel like a cowboy on the frontier right now. And I live in a neighboring state from Texas. First taste of freedom. There's an Eagle, the original Jesse James, America's Outlaw Bourbon Whiskey. Tavern strength. I like that. Tavern strength, meaning it's 80 proof. Tavern strength. Established in 1882. Yeah, right. Sure. That's the biggest bunch of bull ever. It was established in 2011, okay? But maybe the legend when Jesse James was murdered or something. Okay, Jesse James Premium Bourbon Whiskey is made in the spirit of America's true outlaw. It's distilled to perfection. Okay, so they're telling you this whiskey is perfect. Old-time charcoal mellowed. Common. That's a common thing to drip whiskey through charcoal. And aged in oak casks to achieve an incredibly smooth and full bourbon character that makes this one of the finest whiskeys. Jesse James, 1847 to 1882. Bottled in California. 24 months old. Oh boy. Now this liter bottle, I'm going to tell you the price right now, and you're going to probably unsubscribe and stop watching. And I wouldn't blame you because it sounds like a lot. I was at Savannah Discount and I was checking because we were buying all kinds of stuff. And I was checking out and I looked to my left and they had this little stack of these. They put it by the checkout a lot of times. These little discounts trying to get rid of. I said $7.99. I know. So I never heard of a Jesse James whiskey. I said $7.99. I said this must be some off-brand. You know what I mean? Off-brand. When you say that, what does that mean? That means a brand that it's just people don't know about it. That doesn't mean, it shouldn't mean that it's bad. It just means it's not common, which is not common. At least around here. It might be common in California. It might be common where you live. It might be common in Missouri or something. So I was like, I don't know if that's any good. And then I noticed it was a liter bottle. I said, a liter for $7.99? I said, well, I have to buy it, you know. And then I came home, I started doing my research when I had time, and I'll see, oh, it is a real company, and they got, but it's made by somebody. Now, who makes it? We don't know. It's not straight bourbon. It's just bourbon, meaning what? It could be bourbon from all kind of states. Could be, you know, bourbon from Western Missouri at McCormick. It could be bourbon from Kentucky. Could be Indiana bourbon. Who knows? You're not going to know. Okay. All we know is it's bottled in California and it's aged 2 years. But most of the ones you find is 3-year age. Okay. I find many cheaper bottles are very decent. Cost does not always equal a superior product, says Michael Hill. Well, I found that out. My friend David's the one finding that out because he pays so much money. And then he'll almost invariably tell me it's not really that good. But then he told me Saturday, he told me, you love cheap whiskey. I said, no, you're wrong. I love some whiskeys that happen to be cheap. Oh, well, you know what? I'm only me and I answer to me. Okay, so you know what I'm saying? Like, do I have some fixation on the cheap ones? No. After all, I did pay $226 plus tax for the doggone Johnny Walker Blue Label. That ain't exactly going lowball. You know, it's not exactly lowball in it, going cheap. But I just see these prices, so I say, well, heck, maybe it's, you know, if it's terrible, I haven't lost anything. That's the whole point, you know. But 9 times out of 10, it's good. You think, oh, it's going to be dreadful, but it isn't. Now, you say, what about some of those cheap beers? Well, that's a different story. Some of these cheap beers are, ooh, yikes. You don't see them too much anymore, but 10 years ago, they had a lot of them on the market, and they were scary. They were scary, like Milwaukee Special Reserve. Oh, man. Who were they reserving it for? Enemies? It's hard to find a bad bourbon because bourbon has these strict quality control, government imposed standards. And they're just good. You know, Maxwell, hello, Ron, peace to you. Walgreens, cheap beers were bad. Oh, those were, ooh, you talking about that big flats? Yeah, they fell flat too on a big level. They made such a big deal out of big flats, and that was like Frio Light. Yeah, that's at HEB still in Texas. If you go to Texas, you can get Frio Light, Frio Ice, or what is it called? Frio. Maybe it's not an ice. It's like a malt liquor, strong 6%. Frio. That one actually is not too bad. It's okay. It's not good. Not really good. It's kind of good, but you know, you try to convince yourself that it's good. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna hop off, Ron. Take care now. You too, Butch. All right. I know people busy. I'm off today. All right. You can watch the playback later though. Yeah, true story. There was a Walgreens beer. Ooh, there was a Katz and Bestoff beer around here. That used to be a chain drugstore until 1998 when they got bought out by Rite Aid, who then basically went out of business around here. But there was a Katz and Bestoff beer. I never tried it. I think it was made by Falstaff, and then later when Falstaff went out of business, it was made by somebody else. I don't know who made it. There was a Katz and Bestoff vodka. I have a bottle of that. Well, I drank it all. It wasn't bad because it was made by I know it was made by Sazerac. You could tell, like all the indicators show it's a Sazerac brand, which makes sense because the headquarters of Sazerac and Katz and Bestoff is in the same city, New Orleans. They probably know each other. All right. If I see the Tom Sims 6-year-old, well, I'll buy it. Yeah, I'll buy it. If the price is decent, I'm gonna. Oh, yeah. All right. All right. So let's go. Looked like the Tom Sims might have been a little darker, but it's close. It was really close. 2-year age bourbon versus 4-year age bourbon. Bottled in California, but not made there. Probably made. Well, I mean, it might be made there. Are there distilleries in California? I'm not aware of any. But yeah, there are, because they make brandy there. Corbel brandy. But I don't, it's probably made in Indiana, Kentucky, and Missouri. Okay. Just smell like standard bourbon, meaning smell like corn. You know those candy, that snack you can buy, corn nuts. Corn nuts was just like blown up corn kernels. Then they're dried. I guess they blow them up with water, or they air pop them, something. Not like pop. It's kind of like popcorn, but it's crunchy. You know what I'm saying? But it smells kind of like that, without the salt and the spices. And this smells the same. Maybe I'm getting a little oak, a little vanilla from oak. Well, they both smell fine. Taste. Vanilla, corn, candy corn, because that's what I say. Whiskey to me tastes like sugar water. Candy corn and charred oak, charcoal oak. They got a lot of people that they claim that they the best. I'm the best. I'm the best. I know my bourbon. I'm like a dictionary of whiskey. I'm the best. I'm the greatest, and that's good to do. That's good to be the best. That's very impressive and admirable. But let's see some blind taste tests from the best. I'm not seeing that. If you're the best and you can taste dreadful from mediocre, apart from very good to excellent, well, how about we lay some blind taste tests on you and not say, oh, well, here's two inexpensive bourbons and we mix them up and you tell one from the other, because you're going to hate it because they're inexpensive. I mean, lay it on the guy and he doesn't know what it is. You say, I'll give you 2 clues and that's it. Those are the good videos to watch, because sometimes the rare time you ever see them, they'll make an expression like, ooh, oh yeah, I knew something was wrong with that product. Oh yeah, you didn't mention that in the live part. Because I remember you talked about how fine. I'm not saying it's going to happen every time. There might be some people out there that's really good at it, okay? And they might detect flaws right off the bat and say, what are you talking about? This stuff is no good, and I'm going to tell you why. And then they detail it. Here's the 7 reasons. Okay. I wouldn't take offense. Why would I take offense? They're probably better at it than me. I'm just not seeing the thing. I'm not seeing the videos. There is one video series where they do that, but they focus on inexpensive brands. So every brand they do is inexpensive. So it's like, well, this is Old Crow, or this is Evan Williams or whatever. But that's not too risky either, because they all know it's like $25 or less. So it's not like they're throwing in $80 bottles or whatever. I would do the challenges if somebody brought me bottles and said, I got a bottle in this bag and I'm not going to tell you what it is, but you grade it. I'd try it. Can't say I do well. Probably wouldn't guess the brand unless it was some common brand, like it was some obscure Irish whiskey that they make 1 barrel a year of, like, how would I guess that? I never heard of it. But if it was common, like Patty's or Jameson or Bushmills, well, yeah, I might have a reasonable chance of guessing. I mean, I might. I don't know if I would. I haven't done the challenge. These taste very nice. Are they remarkably fabulous? No. They're just regular, ordinary, if you want to say bland. Okay, they might be a little bland. Most of these 80 proof bourbons are bland, though. And you might say, but I thought you said you like 80 proof bourbon. Stronger stuff's too much for you. It is too much for me. and I do like the 80 proof. And I guess you could say I like bland products when it comes, with the whiskey. And maybe I like bland products with everything. I got Pabst Blue Ribbon and Schlitz in the fridge. I like them. I guess they're bland. And I'm still getting that wood over here. Do people sleep under mosquito nets in Louisiana? Oh, yes, all the time. I guess. I've never seen that, but maybe not as much as they did in 1850, but maybe still. We don't get a lot of mosquitoes around anymore. They spray for mosquitoes here. I almost never get bit by mosquitoes. I live a mosquito-free life. I think this is the Jesse James because I'm noticing that strong charred oak. And I said that in my first taste challenge that I'm going to use that as a signpost that has a strong charred oak. And I don't recall Tom Sims having that. It had kind of like sweet and sour sauce type thing. Not really actually that, but something aberrant about it, but not in a bad way, just aberrant. Okay. I got it. See, now I think I'm going to use this little cheat sheet. What I mean to say is that mental note of the charred oak. You say charred oak in a 2-year-old bourbon. Yep, that's the case that they gave me. Yeah, but what if they're using a number 4 char? They call that alligator char. It's thick. They just burn and burn and burn and burn and burn the wood. All right. So they pour the liquor in there. It's clear when they pour it in. It's clear. It's just corn spirits. It's grain neutral spirits when they pour it in. Okay. That's all it is. If you say, well, it's vodka. Similar. It turns into whiskey by virtue of the aging in the new charred oak barrels. Okay, it's only 2-year age, this bottle. But if it's a heavy char, it's going to pick up that. And it's not hot. No, this thing is not hot or burny or bad. Or it's really smooth and it's delightful. Was it the greatest liquor deal I ever got in my life? $7.99 for a liter. I don't know if it's the greatest, but it's definitely one of the greatest. We have to admit that. I guess getting 100 pipers of full size amount, 750 milliliters of 100 pipers scotch, 100 pipers scotch for $3.99, $3.98. $3.98. Full amount, 750 milliliters. That would probably be the greatest deal ever. You say, another bland product. Yep, that's right. Pretty dang good too. Number one blended Scotch whiskey in India, according to Chivas Brothers. Does that mean people in India have no taste? Or does that just mean that it's pretty good? I don't know the answer. Okay. Tom Sims. Yeah, it's all right. Now, my friend David's comment. That stuff's no good. I don't like it. Certainly, if you don't like something, that's well within reason. Nobody likes everything, and everybody doesn't like the same things. I don't agree with the comment that stuff's no good, quote unquote. I think it is good. It's not great. It's mild. It's mellow. I don't know why Heaven Hill doesn't promote it, but then they're a weird company like Sazerac. They make a lot of stuff that they just do not promote. I guess there's only so much you can promote, I'm happy with it. I've been happy with it since the day I tried it. I take no issue with it. Would I recommend it? I would recommend it, but keep in mind you want to try to keep it at a good price. If you see it for $18.99, don't buy it. If you see it for $15.99, don't buy it. If you see it for $12.99, Yeah, you could think about it. Might be worth it. Anything less than that, yeah, I'd go for it. I'd bite. I'd bite. And of course, for $9.99, who could complain? Jesse James, you're going to probably see it for about $19 to $23. That's your normal price these days, 19 to 23 for a 750. Now we're not talking about a liter bottle like I got, but $7.99 for a liter. If I saw that price now, I'd buy more than one. I'd give it to somebody, but then they wouldn't drink it. You see, I know people like that, which means most everybody I know. I try to give people stuff and they don't want it. I don't know why. I bought some Imperial Pumpkin Stout one time, 10% alcohol from Missouri. Great, awesome product. It's nearly 100 out of 100. This lady I work with, I said, you want to try something really good? I know you love Bud Select 55, which is appalling. But anyway, that's what she loves. I said, what did you think about that Imperial Pumpkin Stout? It was terrible. I took one sip and I dumped it down the drain. And I said, why do I buy these things for people? Okay, so now I'm one win, one loss. I got one win and one loss. I'm starting to get a taste, but in my thinking, I'm starting to get a taste for it. So I believe, don't know, but I have a feeling, I hope that feeling's correct. I have a feeling I'm going to start getting a lot of them right, because the rye whiskey thing was a fiasco, really. I got it right twice, and all the rest were wrong. I mean, golly gee. Could that be an indictment against Jim Beam rye, that it's just not distinctive? It doesn't stand out, and it's hard to tell from other common rye whiskeys. Let's go with that one. Let's say that. Let's use that premise. It's not that I'm a bad taster. It's just that Jim Beam rye doesn't stand out. Why? No one could get it right in most cases. Yes, let's go with that argument. And this, well, I'm 1-1. I got a lot of bourbons left, so we're gonna hope. We're gonna hope. What's coming up next? Henry McKenna. Henry McKenna. We all know about Henry McKenna. It's pretty popular, especially the 10-year age, which is kind of expensive, which I don't have yet. But I've got the regular Henry McKenna. Regular old Henry McKenna. I've seen stores with it for $8.99. $8.99. I'm not making that up, but I paid $9.99. I do believe. Can't complain. I don't think McKenna has enough char to compete, but we're gonna find out. But if y'all probably know about Henry McKenna. And then we're going to close out with Larceny, small batch. You would hope at 92 proof, you would hope Larceny from Fitzgerald, old Fitzgerald, meaning Heaven Hill. You ever notice that I always got the same company together? Like I'll do all the Sazeracs, then I'll do all the Heaven Hills and do all the Brown Formans together. Man, if I get it wrong against Larceny, I'd be so ashamed. All right, well, and then we got Dickel coming up. George Dickel Cascade Hollow Straight Bourbon with, I think it just says bourbon whiskey. Okay, we'll check. And then George Dickel number 8. Nope, never bought number 8. That's the black label. Number 12. Number 12. Very interesting. Thanks, everybody. Y'all take care now.